Hello my friends, I hope you're doing well. So you want to convert your two-stroke to EFI, and to do that you need a way to measure the temperature of your cylinder head and transmit it to the ECU. And to do this, there is two ways to do that. There is an NTC thermocouple and there is a K-type thermocouple. And today I want to give you a brief description of what's the difference and how to use it. So usually if you have a 4-stroke or a larger 2-stroke with coolant, if it's actively being cooled by liquid, you would use one of those NTC thermocouples. And this is a very simple device. It has a semiconductor inside it, and depending on the temperature of this probe here, it will change the resistance between these two leads. This is a cheap way to find out the temperature of your coolant, and it's very effective. And it has a limited range up to 150 degrees Celsius, which in my opinion you don't need any more than that. That's plenty for any automotive application. So it's not really deficient in any way or form. And the good thing about this NTC that it's already registered on Tuner Studio. So if you're tuning an engine that's already been converted to electronically injected setup, this is a very good sensor. And the other option you have is using one of those ring-shaped K-type sensors, and you just basically put it around your spark plug, and then you tighten your spark plug on it, and this is how you get a good connection between your thermocouple here and your cylinder head. Now the problem with the K-type is that first of all you will need an amplifier. This is an amplifier here from Modern Racing, but it doesn't really have to be something expensive. You can basically get a 6675 module from Amazon. Some sellers even sell this with the amplifier, so it's not really a big of a deal. But the way this works is that it works on the thermoelectric effect. So basically it works on the Seebeck effect. Once the temperature changes here, it generates a very small amount of electricity in the millivolts area, and the amplifier basically takes that and amplify it and give a signal that represents the temperature change here. These can measure temperatures from -40 or something up to like 1000, I don't know. So they have a very wide range to measure the temperature, and they are very convenient because you can just basically bolt it to your spark plug, and voila, in case if it's air cooled, that makes a lot of sense. The problem with these is configuring them on Tuner Studio. I always had trouble configuring these on Tuner Studio, and you will have to calibrate the thermistor table, and you know, some people are familiar with that. I've done it before. I don't like it because it doesn't give me very accurate reading for some reason, even though that when I invest in higher quality ones, I still don't get very accurate reading. But with this NTC here, I always get accurate reading. Now this is also like I mentioned, is that the configuration is already uploaded, and it's that the Tuner Studio is very familiar with it, and this is more mainstream. The problem is how to adapt this type of NTC thermistor to your air-cooled engine. Where are you gonna fix that? And today I want to show you what I do to adapt this NTC thermistor, which is very easy to configure. It's already registered on Tuner Studio, and it comes with the pigtail here. Always buy the pigtail, guys. Just do yourself a favor, and when you buy any sensor, whether it's a thermistor or a map sensor, whatever sensor you're buying, just buy the pigtail for it and save yourself some wiring hassle. So today I want to show you how I adapt the NTC to measure the cylinder head temperature instead of the coolant temperature. So the plan for today is to basically drill this piece of copper here, tubing, to match the probe, and we'll cut a piece, and then I will cut a piece of this copper strip here and drill a hole so it will accommodate my spark plug. And when this is done, this piece of copper here will transmit the heat for this copper jacket, quote unquote jacket, and it should give us very accurate reading. So with that, let's get started. Alright, so I'm done. So basically all I did is to cut a piece of copper strip to this shape. This is 14 millimeter, which matches my spark plug, but you can cut to whatever size that suits your application. And then I just used some of this silver brazing compound that you can get from Amazon. It's the stuff that's used for jewelry and stuff like that. So it's very easy to use. Just make sure that you sand your copper pieces and apply around the area where you want to braze, and then you heat it with a torch, and voila, you have your tube and your ring. This will fit your NTC thermocouple here like that, and then you can attach your spark plug to it like that and bolt it to the cylinder head, and you will get very accurate reading. So some tips for success: make sure you don't use a thick copper piece, so the thinner the better. Of course, it has to be able to withstand the weight of this, but of course, you know, don't go more than 1 millimeter or something, so you don't mess around with your height of your spark plug. And then last step before I assemble everything, I would dip my thermocouple in thermal grease like that, and then I would use it to coat the inside of this tube like this, you see, just to make sure I have very good surface contact inside my tube like that. And then once I'm done, I wipe around it like that, and to hold it into position, I will just use a piece of epoxy between the boot that I just fabricated and the thermocouple itself. So around this area here, I will just use a piece of this epoxy here. Any epoxy will do, just to hold it firmly into position. And when you're done, you will have your pigtail attached to this. You will attach one end to your ECU coolant wire output, and the other end you will attach not to the ground wire but to the ECU electronics ground. Probably if you're using a micro square, that's I believe 18, pin number 18 or 20. You will see it on the diagram in the back of your ECU. With that, thank you very much for watching. I hope you learned something. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.